Hello and welcome to another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I'm Joanne LaFlamme.
I'm Chris Costa.
Chris, what would you like to talk about today?
I thought maybe we could look at the costing method minutes per unit in the postpress section.
Sure, that's a good topic. That particular costing method will kind of let you make a postpress process similar to what you can do in prepress, where you can create a process that you can kind of do as a minutes per unit, as it says, where you can just enter a number of units and have it multiply by a certain number of minutes you have pre-set up in the process.
Okay.
So it goes by a number of units that you enter as opposed to the order quantity.
Okay.
You can also do it as a cost per unit. Even though it says minutes per unit, you can set it up like a cost per unit. So you can put in a unit cost and again a number of units. There's also a way even to use it if you want to just put it a flat amount in a post-press process.
Right. Okay, that's great. Can we take a look at how it might be set up?
Sure. All right, so I'm going to come over here and go into File Maintenance. And what I've done here is under Cost Centers, Postpress, I've gone down to Handwork and entered a couple of examples of how you might use this in my Handwork Cost Center. So here's one where I've set it up as 15 minutes per unit or per piece. So how we've done that is we selected the minutes per unit costing method. And you actually put the minutes per unit here in the setup minutes. That's really all you have to do. You can leave the units per cycle at 1, cycles per hour at 0. It's not going to really use these at all. It's going to look at the setup minutes. And then what you do down here is under the repetition description, you can put in the word units just so that the estimator, CSR, who's entering the estimator order will know where to put that number of units.
Sure.
Okay?
Okay.
So that's one example. Also did one as a total cost, where you could enter an actual dollar amount that you might want to charge for a post-press process. So again, we'll do a units per cycle of 1, cycles per hour of 0. This time we're not doing setup minutes, so we leave that at 0. Instead, we'll check off use per M cost for estimating. Under the grid UD fields and sizes, we'll put in our unit cost, which is basically $1 each or $1,000 per M, because remember this has to be per M. Then our repetition description is just a $sign or cost $sign. Whatever you want to label there, again, to let the estimator or the CSR know that's where they're going to put in the dollar amount. Okay?
Okay.
It's another example. I've got a $20 per unit, kind of similar to our what we've done in the last one, except this time, again, I'm doing 1 for units per cycle, 0 for cycles per hour, 0 for setup minutes because I'm not going by the time. I checked off the use per M cost for estimating again, but here instead of doing 1,000, I'm doing 20,000. So that's basically $20 per piece. And then again, my repetition description would be units. So it's very similar to the last one we did, only this is going to charge $20 a piece instead of $1 a piece. And then the last one I have here is a number of minutes. You could also use this if you wanted to just be able to put in a number of minutes that a process is going to take. In this case, I would do units per cycle of 1, cycles per hour of 0, and our setup minutes is going to be 1 minute. Under the repetition description, we just put in the word minutes. And in this example, the quantity that they're going to enter next to minutes will be the number of minutes. That gets multiplied by the 1 minute for setup, and then it's going to calculate the number of minutes and use that against the hourly rate.
Okay.
So 4 different examples of how you might use this for different types of processes, but they work very similarly to prepress.
Right. Okay.
Okay?
Can we take a look at how one might use this in an estimate or an order?
Sure. So let's go do that. I'm going to get out of File Maintenance, and we'll open up Estimating Order Entry. And I'm going to open up, I have a estimate or actually a job here with a component that I have all 4 examples in, and we'll take a look at how we've set those up. So I'm going to go into Processes, and if you remember from our video last week, we have departments set up here. So I'm going to get out of my hand bindery department where I have those processes I've set up, and I've got the 4 examples here. So when you bring in the handwork 15 minutes per piece kind of a process, you can put in here the number of units you want to charge. So this is going to be 4 units times the 15 minutes. So I should get 1 hour of time on this times the hourly rate. So it's completely against this number of units and not multiplied against the order quantity. So when I hit calculate, you'll see that I've got 4 units, 1 hour. My hourly rate is $60, and then it's marked up. If I do the total cost, I enter whatever cost I want here. I entered $56, and that's what it should charge. So here's my total cost. $56 is my cost, and again, it's being marked up. And of course, you can use the markup separately if you want to not mark it up or do a different markup than your standard. Here's my $20 per unit. I'm doing 4 units again here, so this should charge $80. So here's my $20, 4, and I'm getting charged $80 here. And lastly, I can put in a number of minutes. I have 120 minutes there, so I should get charged 2 hours times the hourly rate of $60, so it would be $120. So here's my 2 hours, and here's my $120.
Okay.
So it gives you that different options for doing pre-press-like processes in post-press.
Sure. Are there any other types of examples with a post-press process where we might use one of these costing methods?
Sure. What I've seen a lot of is people use maybe a courier charge or a delivery charge and use one of these methods, you know, if it's something that you want to include in the estimate and not just in shipping. And you want to be able to do it in terms of number of deliveries or just a flat amount, something like that. And then examples like I've done here might be for kind of oddball handwork kind of processes, nothing you might have set up specifically because it's not something you do very often, but it gives you a way to estimate in one of these methods.
Okay.
Okay.
That's great.
Any other questions?
No, I think that was good.
Well, thank you. And thank you for joining us for another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I'm Joanne LaFlamme.
Chris Costa.
Please look forward for more to come.